Creating one-to-one ABM or account-based marketing ads through LinkedIn in 5 steps. This 5-step process makes it easy to do them at scale. You won't need a lot of design hours. I'll show you how to do it through LinkedIn, the creative. Let's walk through it. Here's the 5-step process. It's very simple. One, we're going to walk through how to create the campaign. So all you have to do is switch out the company, some job titles or departments depending on the company size. How to create the ad. We'll take a look at some examples, how to create it so you don't need a lot of design hours. All design has to do is just switch out the logo, but the ads will still stick out and you're gonna get that high click-through rate that one-to-one ABM ads really drive home. How to add that ad to the LinkedIn campaign in a way that you can just duplicate the campaign, switch out the ad, switch out the copy really fast, switch out the company, and then you can start creating these at scale for a lot of companies. Then rinse and repeat. So really it's 4 steps, but it's technically 5, I guess. First, we need to create the campaign. So you're gonna go to LinkedIn like you would, go to LinkedIn Campaign Manager and create a new campaign. Name it what you want. The objective, for the most part, we do brand awareness. I see some avenues for website visits or engagement, and we're gonna test it, but right now we're doing brand awareness. Then you're gonna go down to your targeting. Now, the thing I would actually start with is the company. So you're gonna select a company here. And the reason we're doing that first is because the target audience for a LinkedIn campaign has to be a 300 minimum. And so depending on the size of the company and the department you're going after, this will determine what locations you're going after, especially if you only go after North America. But if it's not big enough, we might have to expand it to other countries. Again, this is brand awareness. You're not going to get any leads like directly from this. Maybe. No, you do. You will see some of those, but not typically. Company name. So in this example, I'm just going to select HubSpot. And there's a reason I have all these locations because the audience size is pretty close to that. Now, if I pick maybe Salesforce, we got HubSpot, which is much bigger in the marketing department, I probably wouldn't need all these. But you're gonna start with the company name, select that, and then the department you want to go after. Depending on the company size, you could select job titles, but for the most part, we're gonna do department. For us, in this example, we're gonna do marketing department. Now, like you saw for HubSpot, it's much smaller. It still hits that 300. If you chose a company like Asana, under that, even with the marketing department. And so what you have to do here is expand the department. What you want to do is start with departments that would be closely tied to the department you want to go after. So for this, I would debate sales is a good one. And that actually hits it with those locations. If it didn't hit it, I can keep going down the line, maybe finance, or what we actually do is executives or job function. So let's just say we're doing marketing here, and then we're going to go from job experience, we're going to go to job seniorities. So we're doing marketing department or job seniorities is CXO or VP. Now in this example, it didn't work, but in some examples it does work. So we're just going to add sales here too. But what you could also do is add exclusions and play around with exclusions like we have here, just to get rid of some of those job titles you wouldn't want to talk to in those departments. The third thing that you want to be aware of is if you're targeting companies that are under 300 employees total, so maybe startups or just smaller companies. In that case, you have to target the whole company. For example, let's go with Chili Piper. If you want 200 employees, if you want to target them, we have to target the whole company. Also, you need to start adding in companies that hit that audience size. Now, what you can do here is start adding in companies that are rarely on LinkedIn. Down here in Rochester where I live, there is roofing companies. I'm going to start choosing because I know they're not, I actually come from that. That's my background. And I know that they are not active on LinkedIn. So I add those in. And yes, they're going to see impressions, but not a lot. They might get some of the impressions, but there's not going to be a lot. And the ones that do, they're going to be cheap because not a lot of people are targeting them. You won't waste a lot of dollars there, but you'll still hit that audience size. And there we go. Now we hit the audience size, and now we can run those ads. And so now that you have the campaign built, you're going to do single image because we're going to talk about the creative in a second. But the creative, we're going to do single image creative just so we don't have to use a lot of creative hours at the start. Then you can get crazy with it with videos and things like that if you want. We're going to start with images. Do the daily budget. If you're creating a lot of the campaigns, obviously depends on your budget. What we've been doing is $12 a day for each one. That should reach most of the audience in that smaller 340 employees. For this, I'm just going to go with reach. Then you're going to save and exit, and we're going to create the creative, and then come back, and I'm going to show you how to add the creative, add the copy, so it's duplicatable, and so you can do these really fast. For the ads, I have a couple examples here, and obviously that click-through rate, 176%. This is the kind of stuff you'll see with one-to-one ABM ads because it sticks out. It's so personable. It's talking about the company. So here's just some examples. Hey, logo, and then you have all the copy at the bottom here, as you can see here. Again, all you have to do is switch out that logo where it says Zapier. So your design team, all they have to do is switch that out, and you can create those ads at scale for a lot of companies. Same with this one right here. In the middle, there is 2 places you need to switch it out. So there's a little bit more design hours here than the first one, but still, all they have to do is switch out the 2 spots there. Really easy. Same with this one here on the right. Everything else can stay the same. Now in this one, I will say if you wanted to kind of get a little bit more granular, the logo is at the bottom here, where it has Gong, Calendly, Outreach, Snap, Amazon, Stack Overflow. Can do is make that specific to the industry. Ads similar like this were towards cybersecurity, so we switched out the customer logos at the bottom that were more tailored to that. It's just another way to personalize it a little bit more. But in these examples, all you're doing is making the ad, and so the design team only has to switch out the logos, and then that way you can create a bunch of them at scale. And then you can start adding them to the LinkedIn campaign, so you can start creating a bunch of these campaigns. Again, really simple. Step 2 in the process. So we have creative all set and ready to go. We can go back into the campaign and start creating the ads. What we want to do now is create the ad, but we want to create it in a way that we can easily just duplicate it and change out what we need in the next campaign, and the next campaign, and the next campaign, and et cetera, et cetera. I have a draft already that we've been running. So obviously the ad you want to do is just set up the template. So all you have to do is switch out this just for tracking purposes, or you can quickly look for a quick ad or something like that if you need to change it. And the copy, make the copy obviously about your company, the things that you want to get across to these companies. But I would add in at least one area that speaks specifically to the company. So in this example, very simple. This is a good way to do it. Hey, Airtable, and then go into your copy. That way, all you have to do when you duplicate it is switch that out and the other things that we're going to talk about in a second. That way, it's more personable. And then for your destination URL, we can talk about this in another video, but we're using Mutiny just for personalization. So when they go onto the website, it'll say like, hey, Airtable, or something will pop up. There's certain things that are going on there. That way, in the UTM, and that's actually how we're using Mutiny, just in the UTM, it has the company name. The UTM, you're going to want to switch out that when you duplicate it, but set up your UTMs so all you have to do is have one area where it says the company name. Then obviously you're going to switch out the ad that you just got created here in the ad images. This headline, I would just, again, make it something that's specific to your company, but call to action. Save, just because this is all done. For us, we actually use 2 ads, so what we ended up doing here is duplicating it, switching whatever the new ad is, switch out the ad. This would all be the same. Then we'd save the ad. And for this, I'm just it'll all be the same. Save ad. Now they have all this set up. You have the audience ready to go. You have the creative ready to go, the 2 ads. What we want to do is actually launch the campaign. And now, even if you're not ready, you want to launch it so you can easily duplicate it. So launch campaign. Now let's just say you don't want to actually run it. You just turn it off. But this way, we quickly duplicate it. Now you can get started into that flow. You can start creating a lot of campaigns over and over and over again. So test 2, select ads. You want to select the ones that you just added there because we're just going to switch out the certain things that we need to. Duplicate campaign. All the targeting, all that should all be the same. The only thing we're going to switch out is the company name. We already did the name here. This should all be good. And then we're just going to switch out the company name because this is got like the smaller company where we need to target all of them. We'll just do another company similar. Let's just do metadata. Obviously, if you're targeting bigger companies, you don't need all these other companies in here to start roofing and all that. But just for this example, we'll do that. So we switched out that. Depending on the audience size, you might have had to switch the locations or the departments, but we didn't have departments in here, or the exclusions, but we should be good here. Again, the daily budget, that will automatically switch to a higher one. So you just want to go down to the lowest one here, switch with the audience size. Everything else should be good. Then you go to next. And then what you're going to do here is edit the first one here, switch out the name. For this one, we're doing metadata. metadata, so you're switching out this. So it's the second thing we're switching out. You switch out the UTM. So that is the third thing you're switching out. Then you're going to switch out the creative. Just say it's this. This is just an example. Don't need to do it in here. So you're good here. Everything should be already switched out. Save. And then just to skip a step here, you're actually just going to delete this one from here because you've already switched out those certain things in the metadata one that we just did. Duplicate that, call it the next thing, test 2, switch out the creative, save ad, next, launch campaign. You notice that duplicate campaign, that took less than 3 minutes. And that's where you start getting to that rinse and repeat, which is step 5. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Each campaign should take you less than 3 minutes. And that's how you create one-to-one ABM campaigns easily in this 5-step process at scale.